bad tattoo choices are right there also.
That's an
Yeah.
endemic in the fighting world.
Yeah,
it is an endemic. I think it's an endemic in not just the fighting world, but a general. You see this trend a lot with anybody that has the, I'm gonna say, lack of getting the shit kicked out of them by their parents or something. I don't even know how hard it. My sister hid her tattoo of the adoption symbol from my mom for like a good bit.
Was she adopted?
Like, yeah. Yeah.
What does it
and
look like?
it's a heart and a triangle. And because she was like, I'm gonna get this, but like I'm still not really sure she's gonna be cool with it or not. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be all right. Don't worry. But in my head, right? Versus I'll look at like some of my friends' tattoos that they have viciously tried to cover up, hide, whatever. One so far is to got your entire arm completely covered in black ink from like the forearm down.
Oh, what were they
and
covering up?
I'm just like, well, yeah, I mean, just not great. Yeah, see, harmless, but
the Deathly Hallows.
I thought that was the logo for the Viva La Band.
I saw
right,
one
no,
that had some
him,
color. It looked a little
him,
bit-
right?
Isn't that him?
I saw it and I was like, you like him? And my sister was like, what? And I was like, what?
Huge Jackass fan, huh?
Yeah, really love that.
What was the tattoo of the guy's arm that he had to go full?
I actually don't know. I didn't see it prior to but when he blacked it all out, he was like, yeah, and it was really awkward talking to the previous tattoo artist that did my arm because he was like, hey, like, what's going on with that? He's like, yeah, I just painted over your art. Sorry.
I decided I like my arm entirely black.
Well, because then you can tattoo back with white and do negative space. And he just decided that whatever tattoos were under there were not as good as the idea of potentially doing something down the road.
Was it something like racist or
no?
Oh,
It wasn't like anything wrong or scathing. It just I think it was maybe done in an inebriated and or less than ideal state.
I feel like the artist should know he's that bad, right? If the guy couldn't live with
think
it.
that, but in many a field, tattoos and otherwise, a lot of people just think that their art is artistic and not bad. It's just not for everyone.
I guess you're saying there are musicians that exist in that space as well.
Oh, for sure. And you're like, this is just awful music. And they're like, no, it's just, you just don't like it. I'm like, stylistically and everything else, yes.
You have no talent.
Yeah. But
don't knock on the way I bang pots and pans together.
Yeah.
It's something special to me.
And then, of course, some random person ends up popping off, and then you look like the idiot because you're like, no, you're awful.
Dude, I just went to the bad tattoos Reddit top all time. And this is brutal. Like, seeing some of these stresses me out. Like, thinking about having it on my body. The top guy all time apparently took a picture of some other guy's very good looking tattoo and said, I want that. But I had a picture of the guy's nipple in it, and the guy he asked to duplicate it put the guy's nipple on his arm. And so he's got a terrible rendition of this with a nipple. This is I'm so glad I don't have any tattoos.
Oh my god!
I mean, I want one. Or
what would you get, Tucker?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know because it's one of those things where I have a bunch of friends that have. I have friends that have very well put together sleeves that all flow artistically into each other. I have friends that have very cool small individual tattoos that are just random whatever. I just like the idea of a tattoo, something that you either like or that means something enough for you that you want to put it on your body and like it's remembered that way.
Every time I see a cool tattoo, it's for girls. I saw one I liked not long ago. It was just a word. It was Greece or something. It meant like health and wellness. I don't know. But it was a word like behind her neck in the center. And it's like, that's just a girl thing. I like ankle tattoos. I like the fucking thing right below your ear. I like wrist tattoos. Dude, I'm gonna come back with a goddamn tramp
for him. He wants
like, why are you?
I was ready to give you. You just like some weird placements.
Those are very tattoos places.
You can get it on the ankle, but it has to be pretty far along. Like if it's a guy with the only tattoo in its ankle, it's kind of wrong.
It's weird.
But if he's already got a sleeve and a deltoid or something.
So have you ever watched? You're watching Practical Jokers, where they end up with this punishment. So like, one of the guy's punishments once was to get Jaden Smith's face tattooed to his thigh.
That's so tough.
And they must have hired like a real fucking artist because it's photorealistic. It's one of those photorealistic tattoos that you look at and you're like, oh my god, this guy's an artist. So then maybe a year or two later, I guess, he lost another challenge, and his punishment was again to get Jaden Smith's face tattooed to his other thigh, but slightly aged now. You know, like current Jaden Smith, like for 2008 or whatever.
No
so
way.
like in a recent bit, he is the bit is
I would so not lose.
Oh, sometimes there's no. Sometimes it's easier to lose and take the tattoo than to do what they were going to make you do.
But isn't it usually saying something that you don't want to say?
It's usually saying something really awful to someone. Sometimes it could be like insulting them.
But a tattoo is pretty rough.
Well, he's got both thighs with Jaden Smith's face on them. So a recent bit on a completely third episode that's completely separate. He's like, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. So
he's got like, the Wi-Fi brow.
You know, I think that I don't know if that was the one who was in this bit. So there may be a second guy on the show who also has 2 Jaden Smith tattoos. There may be 3 in the bunch. But he's behind the desk and he's writing an email, and he asked this stranger, she's the one the joke is being played on, would you listen to my email and let me know if it's, buttoned up and ready to send? And she's like, sure, I'd love to do that, people. And so the email is like, the tattoo that you put on me is not what I asked for. This is not my son. It does not look like my son. I will hurt you and your family in ways you can't comprehend. And he's like, do you think I should send it? And she's like, well, what are we talking about? And he stands up and pulls his pants down and shows her his left thigh. And he's like, the worst part is, and she's like, that is not your son. Because first he shows her his son, his real son, I think. And then after that, he's like, the worst part is I went back. He said he'd give me one for free. Something like that. Those are the other thigh. That is not your... I would be pissed. So you think see, they have to convince this lady that email is ready to be sent off, even though it is a threatening, unprofessional email. So he came up with the whole bit about and she's like, I'd be pissed. Yeah, send it.